In Ukraine, Russian forces continue to make progress, steady progress, albeit whilst taking pretty considerable casualties. Peace talks once again have been held on the Belarus border. They haven't yielded much, but a tentative agreement that there should be some corridors opened for civilians to leave and for emergency aid and medicine to get in, with the possibility of a ceasefire around those corridors. Not that significant, perhaps just mildly optimistic, but no more. But what really interested me today was President Macron, yes, Emmanuel Macron, who held a long conversation, once again, with Vladimir Putin. No doubt he's trying to sort of position himself as being the great peacemaker ahead of the French presidential elections, which come in a couple of months' time. And his spokesman after the talk said that this is going to get worse. There is worse to come. That was worrying. But another statement was issued in which Macron said, "We can no longer depend on others to defend us, be it on land, at sea, under the sea, in the air, in space, or in cyberspace. To this end, our European defence must step up." Now, the French have, for a long time, been pretty chippy about NATO. Indeed, they left NATO in 1966. Famously, the American president went to Paris, met with President de Gaulle, and he was told, the American president, he was told that the French wanted not just to leave NATO, but they wanted all American troops off French soil. That was the demand from President de Gaulle as they left. And in response, the American president said, "Does that include the dead ones?" Reference, of course, to the massive cost, the huge cost that America had made to defend France in 2 world wars. So they left NATO. They became then a political member of NATO. They once again then became a full member of NATO. But what Macron's saying here is that NATO's gone. This narrative I heard every single day in the European Parliament ever since the election of Donald Trump. The false narrative that Trump wanted America to leave NATO. But what it's all about are the federalist aims of the European Union, and there is no greater cheerleader for it than Emmanuel Macron. They want their own European Defence Union. They want, effectively, their own EU army. Now, there are some that are arguing that what's happened in Ukraine in the last week or so shows the need for that. I would suggest that provided that NATO is fit and strong and America is still a part of it, provided those things are in place, well then I can't see the need to set up a parallel command structure which would be confusing for member states, as effectively no man can serve 2 masters. Now, Joe Biden may not have been particularly impressive in his State of the Union speech, but he did say this about NATO.
The United States and our allies will defend every inch of territory that is NATO territory with the full force of our collective power. Every single inch.
Well, that seems fairly clear to me. Every single inch of NATO territory will be defended. So why are the French doing this, other than their political ambitions for the European Union project?